To check a pattern that you have in your machine's memory, press the check key. The display will show the last pattern entered. To check a previously entered pattern, simply press the down arrow key until you locate the design number you want to check. You will also see the pattern entry method shown as 1 or 2 in the Memo window. Remember, 1 for standard patterns, 2 for 3 colour in a row work. Press step and the machine will tell you how many stitches wide the design is. Press step again and you have the amount of rows. Press step and you can see row 1 in the indicator lights of the input panel. You can now check the pattern in 2 ways. Either check those lights or press the buzzer key. You will get a long single tone for a blank square, a double tone for colour 2, and when entering a 3 colour in a row design, you will get a 3-tone note for colour 3. Listen. To move up to the next row, press the up arrow key and, if you wish, the buzzer key again. When patterns are wider than 10 stitches, they will automatically scroll through if you are using the buzzer. But if you are checking visually, use the right arrow key to scroll across the first 10. Then the lights become stitch 12, 13, etc. If you should find a mistake, use the left and right arrow keys to locate the stitch number. You'll see this in the main display. Then simply press the correct black or white key. This will then override the incorrect entry. You can change as much of the pattern as you wish, but you cannot change the basic size of the pattern. If you have that wrong, you should cancel out the pattern and start again. If you have finished with a pattern or need to empty patterns out of your machine, you will use the key marked with a C on the input board. Turn your input button on. You'll be offered the next available pattern number. Ignore this and enter the pattern number you wish to cancel. Then press the C key. The pattern number will disappear. Turn the input key off. You've now cancelled out that pattern, along with all the information regarding it, for instance, memo information. The next time you go to input a design, you'll be offered the lowest empty pattern number again. For instance, if I have 5 of my own patterns entered into the machine, numbers 901 to 905, and I cancel out 903, the next time I press the input button to enter a design, it will offer me 903 instead of 906. Once that number has been used, it will then offer you 906, 907, etc. You don't have to worry that the new pattern you're entering is not the same size as the old one. The machine doesn't work like that. It simply keeps the pattern numbers stacked in the correct order. When knitting designs in more than 2 colours, or when using the lace carriage, there's a certain amount of information that can be displayed in the memo window to help you. This information is shown a row ahead of when you need it, to give you warning. I am knitting pattern 60, carriage outside right turn mark. KC and select from right to left. Press MC button in and thread second colour into feeder. Each time I knit from right to left, it tells me which colour I should be using beside my main yarn. As I knit towards the left of row 7, it warns me to change to colour 3. When I reach the left side on row 21, it tells me to change back to colour 2 again. When using the lace carriage, the information in the memo window reads: If there is a number in the window, knit the amount of rows indicated by that number. When the window is blank, operate the lace carriage. This is pattern 112. When using fine and open lace mixed patterns, like pattern 208, the information will be shown as follows. If the symbol is at the top of the memo window, set the lace carriage to normal. If the symbol is at the bottom, set the lace carriage to fine. When the number appears, knit that amount of rows with the main carriage. To enter the memo information for your own designs, first of all locate the pattern number and enter it. Press step until the ready light is on. Then press the memo key. You will have row 1 shown on the large display. Now use the number keys to enter colour information. For instance, if you press 2, it will appear in the memo window. When you are knitting, this will prompt you to pick up this colour. To go to the next row, press the up arrow key to continue entering information. If you are entering information for a lace pattern, the yellow button will enter the normal lace symbol, the green button for fine lace, then use the number keys for the rows you want to knit between the lace carriage movements. Once the memo information has been entered, turn the memo button off. If you look at the designs on the graph pages of your Stitch World pattern books, it shows you the information built in with the patterns. You can change this information if you wish, using the same method we used for entering our own memo data. The original information will return if you change the pattern number. Some knitting patterns will require you to lock your pattern on a particular row. On this sample, I have locked the pattern on the last row before repeating it. To do this, I wait until the pattern row number I want to repeat shows as a steady number in the window. Press the CR key and carry on knitting. To release it, to carry on knitting the pattern, the CE, cancel entry key, is pushed. Your machine has 2 independent memory spaces for information entered on selectors 1 and 2. So you can switch between the 2 patterns programmed simply by pressing the required selector. To return to a pattern row after correcting a mistake, either enter the correct pattern row number, then press Start, or enter the amount of rows you have undone and press the CR key. Take your carriage outside of the turn mark, KC, both part buttons pressed in, and select towards the yarn. Pick up yarn, press correct patterning buttons, turn row counter back to correct row, and carry on knitting. If at any point you wish to cancel out all of your own patterns that you have entered into the memory, turn machine on. With ready light on, enter 888. Press step. The machine goes blank. Wait for it to light up again, then turn machine off, then back on. You have now cancelled all your designs, but not the 615 built into the machine's memory. An optional extra for your KH-965 is a cartridge. You can obtain a standard cartridge on which you can store the patterns from your machine's memory, enabling you to empty your machine's memory and start storing new patterns. This gives you twice the memory space. Brother also have the Stitch Pattern Extra cartridge, which along with the Volume 5 pattern book will give you instant access directly to your machine of over 800 patterns. Let us start with the standard cartridge and empty our patterns from the machine onto the cartridge. You would probably do this once you have got quite a few patterns in the machine and the memory was starting to get full, or if you have the optional PPD pattern programming device and wish to review the patterns on a TV screen. At the time of producing this video, the cartridges available are marked in Roman numerals 2 or 3. On cartridge 3, you can save all of your designs, including 3 colour-in-a-row patterns. Cartridge 2 will save your other designs, but not the 3 colour-in-a-row patterns. First, and this is important, turn the machine off. Lift the cartridge slot lid and firmly but evenly push the cartridge down into the slot. Now turn the machine on, and as we are going to save the patterns from the machine onto the cartridge, press the Save key. If this is the first time you have used this cartridge with the machine, the cartridge will need formatting or preparing by the machine to receive information. To do this, simply enter 888 and step. The formatting process will not have to be done again when using this particular cartridge. Right, now push the Save key. A number 1 will appear in the display. If this number is flashing, it means the cartridge has no patterns on it. But if the number is steady, it means that the cartridge already has patterns stored on it. If you go ahead and save the patterns from the machine onto this cartridge, you will lose the patterns presently stored on the cartridge. So make sure that you are prepared to do that before going any further. If you are ready to store onto cartridge, all you have to do now is push the Execute key. The Save lamp flashes whilst the information is being transferred. Then the buzzer beeps to inform you it is finished. Turn the machine off, then gently and evenly pull the cartridge out. You now have all your patterns stored on the cartridge. Don't forget that keeping good records is essential, and make a note on the design sheet next to the patterns that they will now be found on the cartridge. You can now empty all the patterns out of the machine's memory if you wish, giving a fresh start. If you do that, don't forget that you will be starting with pattern number 901 again next time you turn the input button on. On this machine we saved the original patterns onto the cartridge, emptied the machine's memory, and have since entered 6 new patterns into the machine. So pattern numbers 901 to 906 are being used. I now wish to knit one of the patterns previously saved onto the cartridge. So I turn the machine off, plug the cartridge in, and turn back on again. Press the Load key and the number 1 appears. Press the Step key and a pattern number appears. I enter the pattern number that I wish to load from the cartridge into the machine. In this case, I will load the first pattern number 901. Press Step, and the machine will reallocate that pattern to the next available empty space on its memory. In other words, 907 in this case. Press the Execute key. The pattern is immediately transferred and the machine will buzz. If you wish to load more than one pattern, I repeat the process through. If not, I turn the machine off, remove the cartridge, turn the machine back on again. To knit the design, I simply program as usual asking for pattern number 907.